This is episode 4, and
welcome to Uncontained. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and today on the show, I have a comedian living in the LA area, but originally a native Iowan like myself. Yes, and she says she gets a little homesick every time she watches How to Make a Murder. This is Hannah Gansen. How's it going, Hannah?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. What makes you homesick about How to Make a Murder?
Well, the clothes and like I like living in a city, but I kind of think like just deep down, I just kind of like I want to live out in the open, have like a nice big yard and just, fill it with salvage vehicles.
Yes. Okay.
You
All
know?
right. Miss the salvage yards and everything. There are quite a few of those in Iowa. Um,
I don't think where we were from is quite as bad as with the Manitoka or Watauga, whatever county that
yeah,
shows. Anyway,
Manitoba or
yeah.
however the hell you say that name.
Yeah.
A place I don't want to go because the cops are crooked as hell, and plus it's
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
and I watched the whole yeah. I watched the whole series, and then at the end, like they didn't even show the bloopers. Like, what's come on?
Were they like,
Like, where's
oops,
the payoff?
I accidentally
Yeah.
submitted the wrong evidence.
And then they all laugh, and then they do it again. I tainted the evidence.
Well,
Oops.
that's what the second trial was, the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Midwest, when you tell people you're from the Midwest, what's the typical reaction that you get?
They usually, oh, that explains it.
That explains it, or
Yeah.
like I remember when I moved out here, people expect you to be wearing bib overalls with a piece of straw hanging out your mouth.
Yeah. And I mean, I do wear those, but I don't chew the straw in public.
Okay, that's just for
You know.
in-house occasions, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a nervous habit. But yeah, it's all
What was it
gone.
like growing up in the Gansen household in Iowa, the faraway land?
Just about as you would imagine. You knew my brothers,
Oh yeah,
so
pretty. Are all your brothers musical, or like I know you have music
yeah,
in
pretty
your
much.
comedy? Then um,
You cut out a little every now and then, but I'll just I'm kind of picking up on what you're saying, so
oh
I
shit,
think I'm
that's not
doing
good.
good so far. Oh, it's all right. I'm able to piece it together. I'm quite the figure outer, but yeah, they well basically my parents had us all like take piano right when we were little, and I was kind of the only one that stuck with it past like middle school, and then they all kind of like switched over to guitar. But
Okay.
yeah, they all still, yeah. So like I know that they when they get together and stuff, they record things together and like they'll do little bar shows, and so that's nice.
Oh, that's cool.
But
And
I'm way out here, so I don't really get to chip in. Yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you ever get to record with them, or do they ever lend a guitar to your music videos you put out, or?
I've had little mini jam sessions with them before, but no, I was gonna try and get a banjo part on my last album from my brother Pete, because he actually plays banjo, but then we were kind of running short on time, so then I just played banjo on a synthesizer, which is, different. So
It doesn't quite have the same sound quality, but you get the
yeah,
idea at least listening to
yeah.
it.
I mean, you got the point
And
across.
it would have been great if you had just been like, "Oh, my brother from Iowa is playing banjo on this," and people would be like, "Oh, that explains it."
Well, he's up in Minnesota now. He's been there for how long now? Quite a while. I think he moved up there right after college, I want to say, or pretty shortly after. So,
Okay.
yep, yep. And then Matthew's in Colorado, and then Eric's in Missouri. So, should I be saying this out loud? I don't want people like stalking my
I
brothers.
don't think that they will, but we can change locations and stuff like that in post production if you want.
We'll just make up something
I'll,
weird.
I'll just make it so
Say
like,
my brother Spaghetti lives in Greenland, but
or all of
does
your
anybody live in
brothers live in Manitoba, where making a murder
Yeah.
took place. They helped frame the Averys.
It was community. It's all about community, right?
Yes, yes. When a community working together, there's no limit on what they can do, even if it is throw somebody in jail again.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, try everything, at least 5 times. But I read that on Magnet. How's your weather up there
It's
today?
actually been raining up here, so people are bitching about it being wet instead of a drought.
Oh,
The
okay.
rain out here in California compared to like the rain in Iowa, people like freak out and call it the storm of the century when it's just a rainy day back in the Midwest.
Yeah. Well, it kind of lingers more. Like, it doesn't come rolling in and bashing down like it did back there. But
Yes, yes.
anyway,
And there's no lightning or thunder. I actually kind of miss that.
I miss that
Lightning and
too.
lightning
Yeah.
bugs.
Kind of miss tornadoes too. No.
Yes. They didn't have earthquakes back there, so you got a new natural disaster here, but that you didn't have back home.
Like I kind of, even though like they're kind of less frequent, then I think I would prefer tornado because at least that you can do something about it. You can go get in a basement.
You can get out of the
Like,
way.
yeah, like here you're like, I hope I'm not in a bad place
Yeah,
when
because there's no
this
warning for
happens,
earthquakes.
No. And then and then nothing's ever like I still don't know. Are you supposed to stand under a doorway? Are you not supposed to? Are you supposed to like be under a table? Are you supposed to stand on the table? Are you like it's just I don't get it. Are you supposed to be outside? Are you supposed to be inside? I think you're
I
just I think you're just supposed to like have a ready soul.
I just know
And
you are
that's
supposed to run into the streets afterwards and loot everything. Free stuff after earthquakes. That's what sold me coming to California.
I saw that on a t-shirt once.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Um,
No.
I thought I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger say it on the "What are you waiting for? Come to California" commercials.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. They really want more people in California.
And they play him.
Yeah,
They play him in California all the
yeah.
time too. So
Come to California. I'm
I'm
only
already here. Fuck.
who did you interview in Iowa?
I have interviewed Nathan Timmel, Tom Garland. Let's see.
I know Tom Garland.
Yeah. Have you done any shows with Tom?
Yeah, when I was back home last summer, I did a show in Iowa City.
Okay, was that at the yacht club or?
Yeah, it was really
That
fun.
place was fun. I've done open mics there before. I was getting into stand up actually before I moved out here.
Oh, cool.
And then I just didn't have I found a job and couldn't get to the open mic night, so I'm working on starting
Mm,
up this podcast.
cool.
So, and an outlet for my creative madness. But the yacht club is a really cool place in Iowa City. Did you know it actually used to be a old funeral home, like where they fixed bodies and everything?
No, but that kind of makes
It
sense.
looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It didn't they isn't there like a chalkboard on the walls or something? I could have sworn like it looked like people were just writing on the walls upstairs.
That could be. Yeah, I
I
haven't
don't
been
know.
upstairs much. You just go downstairs. Before it was a yacht club, it was a tattoo shop. But
Okay.
that's when I was
Yeah,
up there
I don't
once
know.
there. But
I might be getting it mixed up with some other venue because they all kind of
or
melt together.
are you talking about Gabe's?
Gabe's, I haven't been to Gabe's since, oh man, I think I was still going to Kirkwood at the time. Yeah, so I would have been like freshman or sophomore in college, I think. I went to go watch some bands play. Man, that was the thing. Like, they didn't let you into Iowa City unless you were wearing a tube top. That nobody, I mean,
And
even
nobody
guys
wanted to
too.
see me in a tube top, but you had to do it to get in the bars.
I'll never forget the thing that just turned off my sexuality off for the rest of my life was going to what was it, the Union one time when it was end of senior year, and I was wearing one of those stupid handkerchief shirts that were popular at the time. And I don't know why I remember that. I just remember like, oh no, I know exactly why I remember that because people were like, I was like, why am I wearing a shirt that is revealing so much skin? I don't want these people touching me. And it was
Yeah.
just like it was just miserable. Like it was like I shouldn't say that it turned off my my sexuality. It just basically turned off my desire to ever be in like
The meat
anywhere like
market
that.
scene.
Yeah, like it's just I don't even like I've maybe been to maybe like 2 or 3 clubs since I've lived in Hollywood, and I'm like, no, no. I mean, it definitely wasn't as bad as that. I mean, that was just disgusting. It was just like, let's pump a bunch of, 19, 20-year-olds full of booze and, see what happens.
Yeah, you could get in
Play a bunch
like
of loud music
18 with
and,
a college ID too.
oh,
So it's
totally.
like
You remember Jay? I used to use his library card to get in. Kirkwood. Do I look like a Jay?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. No.
Man. But yeah. And you know that everybody that was in there had to have been underage because anybody that was of age wouldn't want to be in some place like that. They would want to be somewhere where you could, sit down on a chair and drink like a normal person.
Yes, you
You
could
know?
actually hear what somebody was saying or watch a
Yeah.
band.
Yeah, rather than being the victim of fraterism.
Yes, frats and roofyism, or
Huh.
just the way Bill Cosby picks up dates.
Yeah. That too. He should write a book.
He should. He should. A
But
how-to dating book.
or a podcast. People love those. Like Loveline. It'd be like that. But which by the way,
Date rape
which I don't
line.
think I've ever. Oh man, yeah, I don't think I've never heard anyone call in about love on Loveline, not even once.
It's normally a
Why don't they
rash,
just?
isn't it? Or like,
Well, they should just call it dumb people having sex. That should be the name of the show. And then they listen to people call in who are dumb with questions about sex. That's pretty much what it is. Anyway,
I got this rash. Is it
it's just
normal?
my favorite Loveline call was when this guy he called in and he was saying something about how he's like, oh, I'm having trouble getting erections or whatever, and blah blah blah. And they were like, well, they're like asking him, is it your diet? Is it your sleep? Are you taking any sort of drugs? And he's like, no, no, no. And they're like, were you ever like, did you have any sort of sexual trauma when you were younger? And he's like, no, 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 no. And then they keep going on and talking for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, there's one thing that maybe that might be relevant. And they're like, why? What's that? And he's like, well, when I was like 13 and my sister was 12, I went down on my sister, and they're all like, "Wah!" And they're like, "Why didn't you say it before?" They were like, "You need to be in therapy like yesterday." And it's like, how does something like that slip your mind?
It's like
I
never
don't know.
something subtle like oh yeah, no, I didn't have anything that was sexual traumatizing. Then a little later you'd be like, oh yeah, I had a bus driver at school look at me in a sexual way. No, it was
Yeah,
just
it's like
like,
the bus driver stole me and we got married.
and he
And
raped me
yes,
repetitively in the back of the school bus. And
yes.
oh yeah, that's a kind of a big thing. Yeah.
And I had 4 of his kids.
And we're one big dysfunctional family.
We ride together in the bus. I wish I had a bus. No, I don't. But so what exactly are you doing like job wise then up in the I think you told me already, but
Job wise, right
yeah.
now, I am working in the records and office service department of a law firm right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, very
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, no, not really.
Oh,
But
okay. It's hard for me to recognize sarcasm over.
yeah, it is kind of harder to recognize when you don't see the person.
Yeah.
But
And this is my first Skype ever.
I
Do I
am
get some sort of fake applause?
I
I'm
I can
I'm
find
clapping
a
in the
applause
background
tracker,
just in
else I'll
case.
just lend you a hand here.
All right, there we go. Ha ha.
Yeah.
I for real like this morning I was kind of nervous. I'm like, what if for some reason I don't know how to do it? And then I just like downloaded it and that was that. So I was like, all right,
Pretty simple,
there is
right?
an yeah, but it's I have a long list of things that I'm afraid of, and as long as I keep that list long, I will have plenty to do. So it just keeps me from getting bored, I guess.
Well, I'm
Just
glad I could help you if this was
hey,
on that list, not
yeah,
one of them off.
yeah. Well, now I got to put another one back on. I can't run out. Then I got to find real stuff to do.
Yeah, what else is on that list that scares you?
Um, let's see. It's a really long list. Let me
Just
see.
random ones.
I'm scared of people looking me in the eye a little too long. Um, I'm worried about like when you're like, you're wearing like you put your hair in a ponytail and you got it just right, and somebody thinking they're funny and just pulling your ponytail out. I'm
Dick
scared of
move.
losing. Yeah, I'm scared of losing my debit card. Um, I'm scared of finding it and then losing it again.
I've done the losing the debit
Um,
card thing. That's not fun. They just have to call and
yeah,
cancel, but it's still not fun. You're like, did some
yeah.
jackass steal my shit?
I'm scared of somebody breaking into my apartment. I'm even more scared of ever having to get a roommate again. Yeah, it's a long list. But anyway, I have a show tonight. That's kind of cool.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah,
Where's that at?
it's in Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills. What's the
Yeah,
name? You got a name of the
yeah.
club or?
It's this place called the Rack, which sounds like a strip joint, but it's actually a pizza place.
It does sound like a strip
Yeah,
joint,
yeah.
definitely.
Didn't you used to DJ at a strip club? Is that true?
That is very true. Yes, I
That's and that's
DJ'd.
very awesome.
I DJ'd at the
Ah,
Lumberyard 2 in Cedar Rapids. Not Lumberyard 1, Lumberyard 2,
ah.
the sequel.
Where was that?
That was kind of over by the airport in Cedar Rapids on the southwest side.
Was that? Did it used to be Woody's?
No, Woody's was there too. It's a separate joint. So there was
Woody's is
two.
always Woody's. Okay.
Yeah, there was two big full nude strip clubs in Cedar Rapids.
Wow, I didn't know full nude was legal.
It
I thought
is
it was
legal.
just if
You
you were
just
at a keg in somebody's cornfield. I thought it was the only time it happened. Hey.
no, it is
Huh.
legal as long as you don't actually sell alcohol there. So they're BYOB, like bring your own
Oh
beer
yeah.
type joints.
Okay.
So they'll sell everything else, but they can't sell alcohol.
Okay. Yeah,
And you
that's I
can't bring
remember
in hard
seeing.
liquor either, because that'll make your judgment bad.
Yeah, yeah, because clearly you already have great judgment.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, you're at Woody's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Lumberyard too. Actually, no, but you're right. The sequel. This is the one time the sequel is better.
yes,
But
yes. Um, the Lumberyard one's in Des Moines or Des Moines, if you want to say it wrong properly. But speaking of strip clubs and stuff like that, I actually saw one of your videos on your website,
oh
hannahgansen.com.
yeah.
Yeah, your stripping video. You would have
Oh,
made a
that's right.
lot of money on that one.
I would have. I would have made close to double digits,
Yes, yeah.
and by double digits I mean a $10
Nickels.
bill. Uh, yeah, that's from a few years ago. That was a fun little bit though. That show, it was a show. It used to be called it was called the Joke Lab, and basically every week there was a theme that all the comedians had to come up with brand new material for that theme every show. It was super duper fun, and it was great because it kind of like lit a fire under your ass to write new stuff, but it was fun to think of something. And the theme that week was mothers, and so everybody's talking about mothers and stuff. And so then I open with that, talking about, with my mother about what was the most important word, and the letter begins with the letter, or the word begins with the letter L, and then
Yes.
thus leading the audience to believe it's love, and then here I think it's left hand. But which
And then you
that
proceed
that
to get
conversation
down.
didn't. Yeah, it was very fun, and it was a good way to get rid of that tea bag that I was starting, like that was a box of tea that I bought that I didn't like, so I was glad to be able to use it. So yeah. Oh, and another fun fact, when I put whipped cream on the mirror,
Yeah.
I forgot to dust that mirror off before I did that. And as I'm putting the whipped cream on the mirror, I just see that it's just filthy. And I was like, well, I gotta commit. I gotta commit. So I just licked this dirty mirror. And so then I had to swallow a mouthful of dirt and whipped cream.
and,
And that's how much I love comedy.
and then you found out it was cocaine.
Yeah. Oh man, no, cocaine wouldn't taste that terrible. It was very, it was so gross, but it was worth it.
Right on. That is dedication right there.
Yeah.
As I was going through watching your videos, I noticed you have one hell of like a horror movie Scream, and the ice cream one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you done
That
any horror movies or anything like that, or?
I actually was. It's funny you should ask because there was in like this weird like independent zombie movie that I was in when I was living in Chicago. before I moved to LA. And they shot the whole thing. They shot the whole thing. They had all the footage and everything. All they had to do, like, I shouldn't say all they had to do, but they had to edit it, which is not easy. But, they had everything they needed. So they're putting the movie together. But then the girl that was the director, she just decides all of a sudden that she wants to get her master's in psychology in Maryland. So she just drops everything and moves. So we spent like, it was at least like 3 months like filming this thing. And then we just bam. It was, yeah, it was really annoying.
That
But
sucks.
yeah, because there was a really awesome scene whereas I was like the character that you think is going to live and then I die like towards the end and the zombies come through a door and they rip open my stomach and all my guts come out and it was absolutely disgusting because what they used for that scene is they bought a bunch of raw liver and squid and they put a bunch of fake blood in it and they put it in a plastic bag and then they had to tape this bag to my stomach and then put this like plastic like kind of like container thing over my stomach and then they just like cut it just so much that they would be able to like reach in and like pull my guts out and so and they only did one take of that because fake guts are expensive and it was disgusting because I had a bunch of raw liver and squid and fake blood all over me and then I think I just took off my clothes and I threw them away and then I had to wear a bunch of garbage bags and walk out from that building across this like lawn to another building where I could take a shower. And unfortunately, it was nighttime, so nobody could see me just walking wearing garbage bags. But I mean, it was Chicago. I'm sure no one would have cared.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Any big city, you can
yeah.
just walk down the street and then just be like, "Oh, crazy fucking bum."
Yeah. Well,
Or
and it was summertime. They're probably just like, oh, she's really hot. It's okay. You know, Garbage bags are very breathable.
yes,
So
very. That's why you're supposed to put them over your head as you're a kid and see
exactly, and
how
play
long you can
ninja.
breathe for. Yes, exactly. That's the funnest game to play as a kid, Garbage Bag Ninja. My
Oh,
name was Hefty.
and whoever is the last one to pass out wins. Hefty, Hefty the ninja.
Yes.
Mine was probably some generic brand, like
Our
Our
family.
Family Ninja. Oh, that's a great name for a sitcom. Our Family
I
Ninja.
think we're on to something here.
Hell yeah, it's basically like Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay, I was thinking like Full House, but ninjas.
Oh, okay.
Like the Olsen twins, instead of growing up to be coke addicts, and they grow up to become ninjas instead.
Oh, by the way, have you ever watched the beginning of Ninja 3? What is it? I forget the Reckoning or I don't know. But when you get the chance, look up the beginning of the movie Ninja 3 and you will laugh till you throw up.
Ninja 3. Okay.
Yes.
I have not seen Ninja 1 or 2. Does that matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. Just watch like the first like 15 minutes of Ninja 3.
Okay, I'm actually going to write that down right now.
Okay. It's basically this ninja and he just starts attacking people on a golf course for no reason and basically just takes out a whole like police force and takes down a helicopter and gets shot like 50 times but he still lives and but in a very humorous way. Just trust me on this.
Okay, is it worth watching past that 15 minutes?
I don't know about that. I just watched the first part and then I had to go do something so my friend and I shut it off. I have this friend out here that he has a knack of finding very strange but amusing things on the internet, and he always forwards them to me. He's like
Right.
my personal assistant for all things unnecessary.
Like Two Girls, One Cup, or
Oh no, this is way better.
some things you just can't unsee. I'll just say
Yeah,
that.
that is true. It's it's funny. I remember what I was wearing when I watched that, and I don't know why, I don't think I wore it after that. I really don't.
A video so bad it ruins an outfit, huh?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not wearing this shirt ever again.
No, every time I wear it, I'll think of women eating poo, and it's
Yeah.
not gonna be good.
And yeah, and I think about that enough as it is. I don't need any more reminders. Man. But
Maybe is there a reason behind the why you think of poo? Was there some trauma in your past that might make you think of poo all the time?
I think
Like a
it's
school
kind of
bus
hard.
driver?
Well, it's kind of hard to forget about shitting, you know, because you do it most days.
Any sexual trauma from your past?
Um,
It's like poo line here.
yes. Yeah, I went to prom with a piece of shit and it took advantage of me.
I I'm sorry. I should have dropped you off earlier.
Yeah, you should have at least taken me to Denny's.
I know.
Treat me like a lady.
Only the best. I took you to Happy Chef instead.
Oh, heck yeah. I think you're the only other person I know that knows what Happy Chef is,
Yes.
or at least in this state.
Yes. I don't think it's
Oh,
around anymore. I think they closed
yeah,
Happy Chef down right before I moved out here.
they probably did, which
Oh,
is
that's the
sad because it was
reason
such
I
a
moved
fixture.
out here.
Our neighbor, he went there like every day for breakfast. It was crazy. We'd be like, "Oh, there goes so and so." He'd be driving in his car, and that's exactly where he was going.
Making its run to
And
Happy Chef to have the
yep.
fried dill pickle spears.
The
Have you ever had those?
best. Not there, but I had a roommate in Chicago yet again. One day he bought a fryer and he just fried a bunch of pickles one day, and they were delicious.
Hell yeah.
It was a
Like,
good day.
there's so many fried foods that I miss out here. Everything's healthy.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
Even the
I
fried
moved
food's healthy. It's like,
when I went to when I was in Iowa last summer, and I did some show at oh, it was somewhere. It was somewhere in I want to say it was on. It's just right off the interstate by well, everything's right off the interstate in Cedar Rapids. But it was just this like bar, and I remember seeing like this little like thing on the table advertising. It said brat bites, like, and I was like, oh, like I'm not gonna get a chance to eat these when I go back,
did you
you know?
have them?
No, I didn't because I already had dinner, and but I was just like, but I took a picture of it,
Right on. At least you have
and
photographic
yeah,
evidence.
and it was like, and the little picture thing, it kind of looked like they made it off of some sort of computer software from like 1996.
Back when they still had the green screens, like Oregon Trail.
No, not that far back, but but kind of by that.
How long were you in Chicago for? And is that where you got your start in comedy?
Yeah, kind of. I started doing comedy in college, like probably, let's see, like it was like my junior year of college is when I started doing comedy. And then I moved to Chicago after college and I lived there for 2 years. And then I moved out here in, let's see, October 2007 when I
Okay.
moved out here. Um, and so, yeah, the whole starting comedy thing that kind of just came about that, well, first of all, like the whole like writing like comedy songs. Um, I wrote this song for this. It was like a variety show they would have at the college, like every semester. And I wrote a song, and it was like a serious song, and everybody liked it, And they're like, "Oh, that was so beautiful. That's so great." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, thanks." And then rolls around time for the next show, and I was just thinking, I was like, I can't think of like, I was like, what do I sing about? Because the other thing that I sung about it was just kind of like a little angry situation that I was in. And then this time around, I'm like, what do I write a love song or what? And I'm like, no, I can't write a love song because I don't feel that, I mean, like, or I don't that maybe that's not the way. I don't know. You can edit out when I'm just kind of like not talking, like I'm speaking but not really saying. Uh, but I was just like, I kept trying to think of something to write about, and then I wrote something that was funny, and I was like, this is way more fun to write a song that's funny than to try and come up with something that's like heart wrenching or whatever, and then I played it at the concert, and everybody was kind of like surprised because the last one that I sung was serious, and so they were like, "Oh my gosh, that was so funny."
Okay.
And then I was in this theater class, and we had to do like in lieu of doing tests, the teacher that taught the class said on the first day that he was like, I don't believe in doing tests. Like, I'm not worried about your memorization skills. And I was like, sweet. And because that's, tests aren't, nobody likes a test.
Yeah, no.
But so we would do like performances in the class. I mean, it's a theater class, so that's the only, course where that would, subject matter that you could probably get away with that. You probably couldn't do like a performance for, your biology class or something. But
Social studies performance.
yeah.
See how much you can, you know.
And now we will perform the giving of money for goods and services.
Now I will discriminate like it's the 1820s.
I will do a fluid dance representing Reaganomics.
Trickle down, trickle down.
But so for one of the song, like it was we were doing like this play analysis kind of deal, and one of the plays I wrote a song about, and it was like funny in nature, whatever. And then I took this art class, or not art class, an acting class, and the teacher that taught the acting class, she and her husband own a theater in Iowa City, and she was like, "Oh, I am doing the stand-up showcase at my theater. You should do it sometime." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. That seems kind of scary, but yeah, sure, maybe sometime." And she's like, "Oh no, I signed you up." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "But I don't have any material." She's like, "Oh, just, talk like you normally do." And I'm like, "For how long?" And she's like, 10 minutes. And 10 minutes is a long time when you don't have anything.
It is. It is.
Yeah. And so it was like maybe like a week before this show. So basically I just like talked to myself all the time, like wherever I was walking, wherever I was driving. And then I do the show, and the host, even like the host was a funny guy, but no one's like laughing at what he's saying. Then the first act goes up, and it's just this guy dressed in drag dancing to Mambo Number 5 the entire song. That's all he did. And then
Wow.
that stops, and he
Tough
walks
act to
on stage.
follow.
Yeah. And then the next guy goes up, and he tells all this like stand-up material about riding the subway. And of course nobody laughs because nobody in Iowa gives a shit about a subway. No one's been on a subway. They've been to a subway and eaten a sandwich, but that's about it. And so no one's laughing. And then I'm next, and I'm like shitting my pants because I'm like, great, this is gonna be so humiliating. And then I think like the very first joke I said was, "Hi, I'm from Toddville. If you ever go north on 380 and missed all the Cedar Rapids exits, you might have been there." And everyone's like, "Ah!" And I was like, "What?" And then I just like kept going, and I ended up like killing it. And then she was like, "That was great. I want to have you headline tomorrow night." And I'm like, "All right." And so then I did again. It went great. And I was like, I gotta keep doing this.
Nice.
But I liked writing the funny songs too. So I was like, whatever, I'll do both.
It's always nice once you get that first laugh,
Yeah.
It's like, once
Yeah.
you get that, it's like, oh, okay, this is going to go okay, Until then, it's
Yeah.
like, you're up there kind of nervous.
Oh, and I'm so glad that it was a good experience, because if I would have never have kept doing it.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, well, that's not for me, I guess. If I would have went up and like no one had laughed.
Yeah.
So.
My first experience was a positive one too. Luckily I had I pretty much stole a lot of my material from my radio show. Like things I'd say, making fun of bands and stuff like that, kind of put that into stand-up form. And, we actually promoted my show on the radio. So I was up in front of like a couple hundred people for my first show. So it was a little nerve-wracking, but I was like, you can listen to, I have the video on YouTube, and I'm like pacing back and forth, speaking really fast, but it went really well for my first time. It kind of got me addicted a little bit.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's very addictive.
Yeah.
But...
And I'd like to get back into doing it. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this podcast. Mm-hmm. Like to network out here, meet some new people, plus find out, I also want to get into like voiceover and stuff. So basically I want to get advice from people to share with other people who may be in my position who want to get into the business, and some advice on like where they start out, what they've done, what to do to take the next step. So that's kind of part of it. First part of the wanting to do the show was just to talk to people and get some cool stories out there, get a voice back because I missed radio. But so I guess with that being said, do you have any advice or tips or for anybody getting started out?
Hell no. I'm just kidding.
Don't do it. Shit.
Go to a school, learn a trade. No, don't, basically one of the best, things that I've heard is, keep your head down and do the work. Don't compare yourself to other people, how other people are. There's really only so much you can do. All you can do is be as proactive as you can, perform as much as you can, create as much as you can, and just and enjoy it. And that's very, very important. If you aren't enjoying it, then there's no, because there is a chance that that might be the only payoff, is just doing something that you enjoy.
Yes. How did you go from doing the show at the theater in Cedar Rapids to getting and open mics to getting paid gigs?
Well, see, that's the thing. When you do stand up in LA, you most of the time aren't getting paid. So I know that's usually a shocker to a lot of people. But I mean, if you think about it, I mean, here you've got this city that's full of all these people trying to. That's why like unions exist for like acting and stuff. So but like in comedy, like there isn't a union. So you've got all these comedians who want time, who want to be on stage. If they're asking to get paid by a venue, that venue can easily find any of thousands of thousands, which I'm sure there's probably more than thousands of thousands of comics in LA just alone, who will do it for free just so they can get the stage time. Usually the only, I mean, of course, the people that are like really famous, like if you got like your own show on HBO and stuff like that, I'm sure that people are paying you to perform at places, but like I'm pretty sure like Louis C.K. probably gets a free drink every now and then, is what I'm guessing.
One or two.
Yeah, like they give him like a free sandwich or something maybe. And yeah, and even like my friends that like tour, that go out of town, and I'm sorry if I hope this isn't depressing to hear.
No,
but
no.
I mean, like they go around and they go out to all these different towns and they tour, they do guest spots, whatever. They aren't making that much either. I mean, like a lot of my friends that tour, they say that they just kind of get by, because oftentimes you don't have your flight paid for. You have to pay for your own flight, but then they pay for you to perform and they put you up in the hotel. But as we all know, flights aren't, the cheapest thing in the world.
Yeah, you almost have to have something else to create income as well, whether it's like merch or
work in a restaurant for the last decade, almost, like I have. Yeah, and what's depressing to me, I mean, I'm grateful, but like it kind of makes me sad that I make more in a year than a school teacher does working in a restaurant.
There you go, turning this political and everything.
I mean, like, it's like, believe me, like I'm glad to have the money, but I'm just like, dude, this is kind of messed up, but
yeah,
but it pays my bills, this messed upness. So I encourage you, if you know of anything that's messed up, I just say just go with that, because messed up is the way to go. The end. No, I'm joking.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
No,
This is probably the weirdest interview you've ever had.
No, actually, one of the weirdest interviews I ever had came when I was working at the radio station in Cedar Rapids. I interviewed comedian Bruce J., who actually was out in LA for a while and did some stuff on the Man Show, and is back in Iowa now. He introduced himself as a 6-foot tall puka and talked very abstractly. Kind of an interesting interview, but you gotta be in the mood for an abstract interview to listen to that one.
Yeah. Well, I feel like most people in Cedar Rapids are usually in the mood for an abstract radio interview.
Yes, and I'll
Seems
have to
like
have him on my
the proper.
podcast eventually here. But yes, that was the most interesting and kind of out there interview that I have done.
Yeah, oh, here, hold on. I got to switch legs. I've been doing the splits this whole time. I better
Oh,
switch
wow.
over the other leg. There we go.
Rest
All
a
right.
hammy, switch to a quad.
Right. Yeah, I gotta do that. All right, there we go.
I've been sitting here the whole time with one leg behind my head.
Oh
I
man,
can't do the both.
I kind
But
of wondered. You sounded a little funny.
yeah, a little off balance, a little off
Yeah.
center. I'm working on the other one. I'll let you know if I get it.
So do you go back to Iowa to visit very often?
I have only been back once just because I haven't had the finances to be making trips back there. Hopefully this podcast makes me rich. But
I'm sure it will.
yeah, you know.
That's basic. That's the quickest way to get rich. Start a
Podcasting.
podcast.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, hopefully this makes me rich. But I do have to go back there this summer. I get my stepbrother's getting married, so I'll be back in Iowa this summer. So
that'll be fun. Are you in the wedding?
I am not in the wedding, so
Okay.
I'll be there though. I'll get to see some people that I haven't seen for quite some time, which will be nice. That's the main thing I miss about back home is people and food and lightning and thunder. But
sitting around with some folks eating some fried food, watching the storm.
Oh yeah,
Woo-hoo.
drinking a PBR. And
whoa, fancy!
Not in a hipster way.
I was just gonna settle for a Busch Light.
Old Milwaukee.
Yeah. Whatever they got for $2 and a shot at Gators that night.
Where you can refill your can by pissing in it.
Oh, recycling. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I was actually going to be like, we're coming to the end. I was just going to ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to promote. You said you have a CD out right now called Al the Bum. Where did you get the name for Al the Bum?
From the word album.
Oh, Jesus. Now that I look at it, I feel so damn retarded. I'm like, who is this Al the Bum guy?
There's this long, drawn out, like, romantic story of how, like, there was this bum named Al, and he was always sitting on the corner, and he'd write poetry, and then I got to know him better, and then I helped him get back on his feet, and we opened our own little cafe, and we have a little poetry slam night. No, it's not that.
Something like that, or the bum that overdosed in the alley of your restaurant.
Yeah. No, we're not that fancy.
All right.
Got our own alley. But yeah, no, I just my friend Michael Constantini, who is the producer, he asked me, he's like, what do you want to name your album? And then when he said the word album, I just thought Al Bum, and I said Al the Bum. And he was like, oh, I like it. Like, it was just decided in 5 seconds, just like that.
Right.
So,
right. Cool.
Unlike this next one, I have no idea.
Okay, you don't know what the name of the next one is, but it's coming out here in February sometime, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What I got, one idea I have so far is calling it, having a picture. My last one, it was the album cover, it was like animated or whatever. I was thinking about this time having like photography and maybe show me standing in front of a urinal, thus implying that I am peeing into a urinal.
Okay.
And then have the name of the album be called Take a Stand. I don't know.
All right.
I have no idea. Or maybe Denim Near Killed Him, and just show someone with a pair of denim jeans wrapped around their neck and they're choking.
By somebody in a Canadian tuxedo.
Yes. Well, they were. Now they're not wearing the jeans.
All right. So, well, you could have people swing by your website, drop off suggestions if you want or not.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
So, HannahGansen.com. What's your Twitter, Hannah? Or do you tweet?
Yes. Hannah Gansen is my Twitter.
You got the name. Nobody beat you to it. All right. So,
and Facebook, Hannah Gansen. I hope they remember all this. I really do.
it's kind of abstract,
Yeah.
like the interview with Bruce J, 6 foot tall puka, which for those of you who do not know is like a Gaelic rabbit or a Gaelic bunny that brings like bad luck, kind of like Donnie Darko. He's a puka.
There's a guy I used to work with. He reminded me of a puka.
Was it Bruce J?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay, just checking.
Just trust me on this. Yeah.
I
Ha.
will. I will. We can talk more about that later at some other time. Thank you, Hannah, for joining me today. Once again, Al the Bum album, the new upcoming Untitled album. If you have any ideas of what to name it, whether swing by her website, hannahgansen.com, or hit her up at Hannah Gansen on Twitter. Tweet at her your title. Sorry, no prize for picking the winning title. I can't promise that for her, but just the pride of knowing that you helped her be creative.
Yeah. AHS.
Yes, Elburnett High School right there. All right.
I know we can't have that as the name of the album. Although I do like it. It has a nice ring.
How about Pirates?
Could be, but I don't know. There aren't any songs about pirates or. Oh no, wait, no, there is. There's a song about Somalia on there, so maybe that would be pertinent. I don't know.
Well, maybe I helped you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But all right, thanks again, and good luck at your show tonight.
Thank you.
If you have any hecklers, kick them in the face.
Oh, I will. I got long legs.
Oh, I have actually one more question that I am asking.
Sure.
Asking this at the end of all my interviews. And you can take a second to think about it if you want. Since the show is uncontained, I am asking, how do you live life uncontained?
How do you live life uncontained? You be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Care to elaborate?
Be who you are, say what you want, mean what you say, and everything will fall into place.
All right, fuck yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you once again, Hannah.
Thank you for listening, and make sure you do check out Hannah Gansen at hannahgansen.com. And I have talked to her recently. She is releasing her CD in April, and the title is still pending. And if you have any suggestions for her, make sure you swing by hannahgansen.com. And while you're there, make sure you let her know you heard about her here on Uncontained. Also, big news for the show. I have a new logo coming. Yes, from the very talented artist Megan Wagner. She's done some magic on paper, drawing up a kick-ass logo for the show. You'll be seeing that real soon. Thanks for listening to Uncontained, and as always, please subscribe, rate, and review in iTunes and in Stitcher. Thanks again. Until next time, live uncontained.
And live uncontained.